It's been a year since former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi lost the gavel to John Boehner. She held a presser this week marking the event, using it as an opportunity to attack Republicans for not being in session. I spoke to the House Democratic leader on Capitol Hill late last week. Madam Leader, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
You and your fellow Democrats have spent the week taunting Republicans, saying, come on back, come on and get to work. Why are we in recess? The question is, if they were at work, what would they be working on?
What we want them to come back to do is to get to work to pass the payroll tax cut for 160 million Americans, extend unemployment benefits for millions of Americans who are out of work through no fault of their own, and also to pass the legislation that guarantees seniors the ability to see their doctors under Medicare. This is what they passed for 2 months in December under great duress. We want to get rolling with that. We want the committee, the conference committee, to come. They kept asking, appoint conferees. Well, we appointed conferees. Let's call them together to meet.
They have until the end of February to do this. You know, Congress always works up to its deadline. It's just the nature of the beast. The Senate isn't in, so why doesn't this look sort of like an election year stunt?
Republicans keep telling us that we're not in recess. They said to the president, we're not in recess. You can't make a recess appointment. We are in session. But yet when we went to the floor, the very distinguished gentleman, our assistant leader, Mr. Clyburn from South Carolina, was gabbled down the minute he started to speak after the pledge to the flag.
People looking at this will go, you know what, these people, and I don't mean Democrats, I mean Congress, are playing games again. They're gabbling each other down. They're taunting each other about why they're not in session. That this is what people hate so much about Congress. It looks like games.
I don't think they hate us calling people back to work. I think that they wonder why we're not at work. Here the American people, many of them are out of work. Others are uncertain about their jobs. They want to work. And we're taking a month off in January. I think that's what aggravates. It certainly aggravates me.
You brought up the president, and I wanted to play something for our audience and for you. President, and just talk about his relationship with Congress. This was probably something you heard. He was in Ohio the other day.
When Congress refuses to act, and as a result hurts our economy and puts our people at risk, then I have an obligation as president to do what I can without them.
Are you totally comfortable as a former speaker and now the head of the Democrats, majority leader of the Democrats, with a president running against Congress?
Yes.
Because that's you.
It's not me. It's the Republican majority in the House of Representatives.
He doesn't always make that distinction. He does say at times, well, there's, the Democrats working against the Republicans. But, I mean, he doesn't always make that distinction. And I wanted to read you one other thing. This was from his Deputy Press Secretary, Joshua Earnest, who said, in terms of the president's relationship with Congress, the president is no longer tied to Washington, D.C. Winning a full-year extension of the cut in payroll taxes is the last must-do piece of legislation for the White House. This is the president really doesn't want to deal with you.
Well, it's not a question of wanting to deal with me. He doesn't want to deal with the obstructionism of the Republicans in Congress. But to answer your question, I have no problem with the president's statement. I think he should run against this do-nothing Congress. For the past year, there's been a missed opportunity for building the infrastructure of America, making it in America with manufacturing initiatives for our country. We have missed an opportunity, and much of it because they want to obstruct the initiatives of the president or to work in a bipartisan way with him, with us, to get the job done. So I think what the president, and for the good of the country, forget Democrats, Republicans, for the good of the country, I think it's really important for the president to make the race that he is, running against a do-nothing Congress. He says Republican...
That's like no coattails, no nothing. It's like every man for himself out there for House Democrats.
Well, campaigns are always that way. We will be running in states where the president is not running, because he will either be winning those states or not taking on the state because it's not a good state for him. That's where all our races are. Our races are about the House of Representatives, one district at a time. We think we're in good shape. We want the president to run the race that is important for the country, and this do-nothing Congress must be defeated.